So we're getting into emergency funds because we know the dangers, the advantages of using debt, but also the dangers that come with debt. Right? You can't, if you manage it successfully, you can use debt to benefit you, but it can come back and bite you, and so you just need to know the dangers of that, right? Next thing in terms of adulting or personal finance is setting up for an emergency fund. Okay, this is cash. Emergency fund is going to be cash that you have on hand in the event of an emergency, so you don't have to go to debt in order to get you through this emergency. Now, emergencies can cover a wide variety of things. Car repair, medical, loss of job is really, though, the main thing that we're concerned about. When we're setting up for an emergency fund, we're concerned about a loss of job. And so we used that concern to figure out how large our emergency fund should be. That doesn't mean that we get a large emergency fund if we have a medical emergency or a car accident or something like that, or need car repairs. We can dip into that to pay for those emergencies, but we still want to then refund the emergency. It's like our little nest egg, not retirement nest egg, but just life nest egg. Okay. Now, some financial gurus like Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman, they recommend 3 to 6 months worth of expenses for your emergency fund. But they're also in the kind of baby boomer generation. This, like the Great Recession has shaped my view of it. And now we're in another recession, pandemic recession. And that's also kind of reinforced my view on it. So Ramsey and Orman will say 3 to 6 months. Personally, I feel more comfortable with either a 6 to 9 month or even 9 to 12 months worth of expenses. During the Great Recession, so prior to the Great Recession, on average, people, when they lost their job, they waited, it took them at most like 3 months to find a new job. During the Great Recession, there were people out of work for close to a year because they just couldn't find any work. So if you only had an emergency fund that covered you 6 months, or if you were on the shorter end and said 3 months, and the Great Recession hit, you'd be out of money, and then you'd still have 9 months after before you end up finding a job. That's stressful, right? Money is one of the main causes of stress. It's one of the main reasons for divorce in this country, stressing out over money. So I feel more comfortable having a larger emergency fund than a smaller one. Yes.
Couldn't you invest that one in some like Bitcoin or something?
Well, I wouldn't invest in Bitcoin, right? But yes, you are right that the money that you have in your emergency fund, you're not really going to be investing. You're losing out on that investment. Because think of if you had that money in the stock market, what happens to the stock market typically during a recession? Goes down and down. So you don't want, and a lot of people during the Great Recession, they fell into this where they didn't have a necessary emergency fund. Recession hit, they went through their first 3 months worth of expenses. Then they had to come up with some way to get the money. So what do you think they did to their investments?
They took it out.
They sold them. They sold their investments. But what was the market doing at that time? Was it at its all-time highs or all-time lows? Lows, because it was a recession. So they were forced to sell at the all-time lows. And that's one thing that we really, really want to make sure none of y'all are ever forced to do. Because you don't make money in the market if you sell at lows. Right? But it is money that you put in an emergency fund that you cannot access that you should not invest, because investments can lose value. And this is not what you want to happen. Like, think of your investments as your backup emergency fund. Okay, if worst case scenario, your cash emergency fund doesn't take care of all of your needs, you can tap in to your investments to pay your bills, but you don't want to touch those. Okay, you want to leave them invested in the market. Okay, so I recommend a 6 to 9 or even 9 to 12 month emergency fund. And kind of think about where that was. The recession started March, right? Well, let's go April. The current recession that we're in started April, right? So if you had a 3-month emergency fund, April, May, June, you'd be out of money by June. If you had a 6-month emergency fund, July, August, September, this would be your last month to cover your expenses. Are we near the end of this pandemic recession? It doesn't seem like it. We're about to enter flu season, right? So kind of we don't know when we'll end. But if you only had a 6-month emergency fund prior to this, I don't know about you, but I'd be feeling a little nervous. I'd be feeling stressed out. A 9-month emergency fund would go from October, November, December, take you through the end of the year. It's a little better. And then a 12-month would take you through the rest of the year, or through January, February, March. And so you may feel, it provides you that security. And that's if you had lost your job back in April. You'd have a year's worth of expenses that you could cover. Okay. So what are some things that we're going to want to cover? What do y'all think? What are some necessary expenses that we're going to want to cover in our emergency fund? Just kind of
Food.
food. Okay, so groceries. I can't spell. I'll just go food. Okay. What else?
Electricity.
Utilities. Okay. What else?
Like your rent, if you live in an apartment.
Rent, or if you, how do people finance a purchase of a home?
Oh yeah, mortgage.
Mortgage, rent or mortgage, like either one, right? Okay, what else? What else are things that you, if you want to make sure that you have money for?
Gas.
Okay.
I guess car loan because you repossession because of cars.
Okay, so if you have a car loan, you want to put that in your, like, you don't want to default on any of your loans, right? So we'll go debt payments. How many of y'all could live without this? Like you're going to be doing job searching, right? I mean, if you're unemployed, is it important to keep your phone plan up? Yeah, I mean, you may want to lower your phone plan, get a lesser plan, but you still want to have access to your phone, especially if you're looking for work. How are employers going to contact you? Right? Okay. What about internet? Is that necessary to have at home? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Food, gas, mortgage, utilities. Okay, so what are some things that you would cut that wouldn't necessarily be part of our emergency fund?
Like spending on the clothes and stuff.
Okay, clothing. Okay. Although you may want to if you've lost your job, you may want to go out and purchase a couple new outfits at the time that you get your job, or going on interviews, things like that. So you do want to have some,
But I mean, like, just
something
like
set.
buying stuff just to buy it, that's
Yeah,
what I mean when I
yeah.
say clothes.
absolutely, absolutely. What else?
Like, the money you spend, like, going out with friends and stuff.
Yeah, you're not gonna be eating out, right? Where if you lose your job during a recession, you're not eating out, you're cutting back on pretty much everything. But you don't want your life to be miserable, right?
If you're gonna eat out, you need to eat at McDonald's. Like, you're not going anywhere nice.
Ooh, what about insurance premiums? You talked to McDonald's, and I just thought if someone eats McDonald's every day, they're gonna have some health problems,
Okay,
right?
I'm not saying like.
No, I know, but this is, are insurance premiums important to keep up during?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're gonna eat out, you're probably gonna be eating McDonald's or Wendy's getting a 4 for 4.
Uh-huh. So I'm saying both, you wanna keep your car insurance going, you have to. It's illegal to drive a car without insurance, right?
Now it is.
Well, it's been like this for a long time. There's only one state in the United States that allows you to drive without car insurance. I believe it's Vermont. But in order to do that, you have to prove that you're able to cover any of the costs. So you have to have enough financial assets to, if you get into an accident, that you can pay for it. Okay. All right, let's see if there's anything else in this article that we have not thought of. Okay. So as we see, it's unforeseen medical expenses, home appliance repair and replacement, things like, okay, major car fixes, and unemployment. Okay. Let's see, scroll. Ah, this one doesn't tell me. This is the one that I want then. Okay, what it is, how should it be? 8 month, okay. Starting to build one. How do I determine the number to use for my monthly expenses? Here's what we want. Okay.
Oh, calculator. I was just saw a calculator.
Zoom in a little for y'all. Okay. While monthly expenses can vary from person to person, do y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're basically ensuring that you could continue your life without bringing in any income. Some people make sure that their emergency fund can cover luxuries, right? So, because you don't necessarily want to be miserable during this period. I mean, after all, you just lost your job. Is that a emotional hardship? Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, if you get laid off, some people start to self-doubt. And so you don't really want to pile onto that by going into a bare bones thing where you just don't want, like that just compounds. And then you go for job interviews and you don't have any self-confidence. What are the odds that you're gonna get hired?
Probably not.
Yeah, it's gonna, that lack of self-confidence is gonna hurt you in the job. So you do want to keep your spirits, right? Self-care. So you're gonna wanna have some of that, okay? While others stick to bare bones emergency fund, okay? Let's see. This one doesn't tell me as, I thought I looked at one yesterday that said some things. But I think we have a good list to start off with right here. Food, utilities, rent or mortgage, gas, debt payments, phone, internet, insurance. If we think of anything else, we'll add it to this list, okay? So let's kind of try to get an estimation of what a typical emergency fund would look like. Okay, on average, how much do you think people spend if it's just you? How much do you think you would spend on food? Let me get a different color.
In a month?
In a month. Food, and we're talking like just groceries and stuff.
With groceries and like going out, I would say like 1,000 plus.
Woo!
With my family, it's not that much.
Golly.
Cause like when we buy groceries, we buy a lot.
No, I'm just talking about for you.
Oh.
Just for you.
You'll say like $300.
I'm still gonna say like maybe $850. I eat a lot.
I feel like Fred Sanford.
You watch this show?
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm coming home.
Elizabeth.
From Sanford and Son. Okay, I'll go ahead and tell you, $850, $1,000 a month is
Too much for food?
extremely high. Extremely high. Someone look up the average. What is the average grocery bill for one person?
I was for computers right now.
Check this.
Between 165 and 345 now.
$165 to $345.
Like
No,
one
my
time
brother
grocery
spends
shopping?
like $200 a month on groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right for my mom. Because every time I see her, she goes like twice a month, and then it's always like $110.
And that's for a family of five,
So,
right?
We have 4.
Yeah. Yeah, so the number that you, was that for one person or for one family?
That's for one person.
One person. Okay. So let's go with,
But see, look, it said 300 something something, but you go grocery shopping 2 times that month.
no. That's a per month.
Oh.
Figure. That was a per, not per trip. Okay. So let's bring it down from an 850, which your emergency fund would be extremely high.
Yes.
Okay. Let's bring that down to say 200. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
200 a month. Okay. Utilities. So what's included in utilities? Well, that's going to be electric. Okay. Gas. And water. Okay. So, tell you, look up average utility bill in Texas. Thinking around 500. We'll see how it looks.
I have no idea.
It's like, it only shows just like one. This is says electric is, the average monthly Texas electric bill is around 128.
128. Okay. Okay. Do you think that electricity would that vary? Would that be a fixed expense, or would that vary from month to month?
Very.
It would. When would in Texas? When are we going to likely to use more electricity? What time of year?
Probably in the summer, actually. 'Cause
Why?
you want to keep it cold.
Air conditioning in the summer. That uses the electricity a lot. So, Talia, you said at 125, right? Okay. So 125 for electricity, water, and gas. Let's add in another $75. We'll just say $200 on average. Is it better to overestimate or underestimate when you're planning for an emergency fund?
Over.
Why?
So you're
Because
safe.
prepared.
Yeah, it's better to have extra money in your emergency fund than not to have enough, right? So we'll go another 200 here. Okay. Now, if you are single and you're living alone,
Right.
you could probably get your utility bill even lower. I know when I was in law school living in Lubbock, I essentially didn't spend too much time at my apartment, so I kept the AC off, or I set it at like 85, because I wasn't there, right? And so my electric bill was like $20 a month, which is nice. Right? Okay, rent and mortgage. What city should we do this estimation in?
Houston.
Houston, okay. And let's just say we're gonna rent. We're not doing a mortgage just yet, okay? So let's say we're renting. 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. What do y'all think? What should we do?
Or single, so I'll say
Studio apartment.
1 bedroom. Remember, we don't want to necessarily hate our lives.
Yes. That's,
Okay.
Nothing wrong with
Although-
that. It's just
Yeah. Let's do a 1 bedroom. What do you think the average 1 bedroom
1,000 or something?
in the city of Houston is? I'm gonna say about 1,200.
Yeah, I'll say
1,200.
like in the 1,000, cause I looked at some condos in Houston, they're like 1 bedroom, and it was 1,000. No, that's why.
no. I've done the same.
Yeah,
Oh,
No, it's around 1,000, it says 735.
735. Okay, so that's probably
Oh,
across.
that's a studio apartment.
Oh,
Leo.
that was Leo's.
There you go.
I was thinking
Like, let's say like
700.
an apartment
It doesn't say
downtown,
one,
I think
it
it'll be
says
like
two
1,200, like you
bedrooms.
said, or more.
Hmm? What'd you get,
Two
Tom?
bedroom is 1,000.
1,000? I'm thinking a 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, especially a 1 bedroom in a part of town that you want to feel safe in.
What's wrong with just renting out a hotel room?
That's expensive.
Yeah.
That is extremely expensive. Right? Remember, it's expensive to be poor in this country. Okay? So let's go 1,000. Keep it simple. $1,000 a month. Okay? Gas. How much do you think people on average spend for gasoline?
A month?
It depends on what car you drive, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Then you have like a big truck.
Talia, what type of car do you drive?
Like one of those like small hatchback.
Okay, all right. Anybody else driving here?
I don't drive until December.
All right. How much do you think you spend in gas? How many times do you fill up?
I don't know. It's my mom and dad.
Okay.
Probably it's like 20 to 30 times every time you do it.
Yeah, right now. And you probably you drive that to school?
No.
They drive. Okay. So most commuters in Houston will fill up maybe once a week. They'll fill up at the end of the week, and so because in Houston we commute a lot and we're in traffic a lot, so there's a lot of idling time. So if we estimate, $30 a fill up, because again we want to overestimate rather than under, and once a week we're filling up.
That's 12.
Well, take a zero off.
Oh, oops. 120.
$120, right? And it's better to overestimate. So 120. If you drive a truck, you may be filling. It's going to cost you more. Or if you drive an SUV, it's going to cost you more. My truck, each time I fill up, it costs about $80 to fill up. But my truck also has a 36-gallon tank, so I have to fill up like once every month and a half, because it goes like I have
How
a
much?
range
How much is a gallon of gas?
right now about 170.
Okay.
All right, but we'll do $120. Okay, debt payments are going to vary. All right, what's the average student loan payment? Because let's say that's our main debt. Let's say we don't have any car debt. This individual doesn't have any car debt. They don't have a mortgage.
Around $400.
$400. That sounds about right. Okay, phone. How much is the average phone? Like, who do y'all have? What companies?
Verizon.
Verizon. You don't know? Okay.
AT&T.
AT&T. I think AT&T for one line is about $60 to $70. You looking that up?
71.
$70. Verizon's gonna be maybe
It's
like
a little
10
bit more expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say $10 more than that, so about $80 for one line. Let's assume $80. Okay, home internet. What do you think people pay for home internet?
I forgot about cable TV. Well, if you have internet, you can use like Netflix and stuff.
Well, we can put cable on here too.
Pirated movie sites.
Movies.com.
Cable/TV stream.
This is an app called Watch, and you can watch everything on it for free. is not covered.
66.
Yeah, we'll we'll round up 70, okay? Insurance, okay. Car insurance, depending on what type of car you have,
Oh yeah, the more expensive ones.
it's gonna, like, I think mine for the 6 months, since I have a truck and it's a more expensive car to insure, it's about $1,000 per 6 months. Okay,
That's not bad.
yeah, so I don't have a straight on calculator.
This one says $700 or $770
770?
for 6-month policy,
Okay.
or $130 per month.
Well, let's do $150 per month. Okay, kind of split the difference because I got 166 for 1,000 per month. So car is 150 per month. Medical, typically people get their medical through their employer. The problem right now is that if you lose your job, you lose your medical. And so you're left with maybe going on the open market price. So what do you think a medical insurance, health insurance costs on average?
1,000, no?
This is like 500 rounded up.
Yeah, 500 a month. That's a lot. $500 a month. And then if you choose cable or TV streaming, like YouTube TV or Sling TV, let's say about 60 a month.
Does that vary or is that kind of fixed? Because I don't know about cable.
This will be vary. A lot of cable companies have you sign a contract, but they're going to charge you the same thing. So that 60 a month.
Well, it says package, so
Oh, I hate packages.
it says $200.
Yeah,
That's why we don't have cable anymore.
yeah. I don't like cable company. Xfinity. Ugh, I hate them.
But isn't theirs like the best though?
The best out of crappy choices. It may be the best. Still a crappy choice. Right? We'll go 150 a month. 150 a month. Okay. So let's circle real quick. Let's make note of which ones are fixed and which are variable. I'm going to circle all of the variable expenses. You think food is going to vary month to month?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't work.
Ooh.
Our utility is going to vary month to month.
Yeah.
Not if they're like you though, because you were keeping yours at a steady.
But it's still, like in the winter time, when I turned on the heater,
Okay.
it did go up. So yeah, utilities are going to vary. Okay. Is rent going to vary month to month?
Maybe if you know, like, someone got killed in the next apartment, but
No, it's not going to
really.
not going to vary.
That's
Gas.
very extreme.
Is that going to vary month to month?
Yes.
It may, yeah. Okay, debt payment, so those going to vary.
I don't think.
Yes, if you're not paying them.
But let's assume we're paying.
Oh, no, they should.
No, okay? So when an expense doesn't vary month to month, we call that a fixed expense. Okay, so fixed versus variable. Keep that in mind. Okay, phone bill, fixed or variable?
That's variable,
variable.
because it depends how much you use your phone.
Also, if you go out your data.
Okay, but let's assume we don't have those extra, like 80, I have not gotten extra charges on my phone in years. Have y'all gotten extra charges on your phone?
I used to, but not now.
Why?
I used to because at first we had a data plan, but now we just got unlimited because my parents got tired of me.
Okay, but yes, so most plans out there now provide unlimited data, right? And so they kind of take all those expenses, all the variable expenses, and just bundle it to one fixed price. And if you've lost your job, are you going to be more worried if you do have a data limit? Are you going to be more worried about going over? yeah, you're gonna be going to Starbucks and logging onto their Wi-Fi if you're near the, right? So that's gonna be fixed. Internet, fixed. Okay, car insurance, it'd be fixed. Once you sign that contract, it's fixed for the period, 6 months or a year, okay? Medical,
I
Variable,
guess-
cause you lose your job, you lose that.
well, we're assuming that the 500, that is, we've lost our job, we're going on the open market and purchasing it on the open marketplace. Okay, that's gonna be pretty fixed. We can plan for that, okay? Cable and TV stream, that's
Very-
probably fixed.
Oh,
Probably doesn't change that. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? What's our total? Okay, we got 200, 1,000, 120, 400, 80, 70, 150, 500, and 150. Whoo! That hurts. 2,800.
Oh, that's not bad.
$70 per month.
That's not bad.
So, a fully funded emergency fund with these figures as our necessary bills. We said in my class it's going to be a 6 to 9 month. Right?
mhm.
So 6 months times 6, 17,220 times 9, 25,830. That's a lot of money. That is definitely a lot of money. Okay. So when we come to budgeting, you know, there's a reason that since I've been in Houston, I've been staying at home. I don't have to pay rent here. I'm debt free. I will and there was a article that came out just the other week that the amount of young people staying with their parents after college is at its highest level since the Great Depression. Okay. One thing that I think we as a society, if debt and personal finance is important to us, we need to get rid of the stigma of staying with parents, if our parents allow it. Right? Some parents are like, no, get out, you're 18, bye.
Mhm.
That laugh from Leo. Leo, or is that your parents?
No, that's me on myself.
Oh, right. But it can save you a lot of money, right? Like I don't have to pay rent. That's $1,000 a month that I'm able to save. And every dollar that I save here goes to either my retirement or my investments. So my emergency fund is a lot lower than this. I can get by spending about $400 a month with things. If I go bare bones, $400 a month. So I feel, you know, my emergency fund, I can do more with that extra cash. Okay. But this is what people will have to save for if you don't have any of the outside help. Okay. All right. So we are done here, and chapel is beginning.